You know how some movies just tend to stick with you? The kind that crawl into your brain and linger? That's exactly what the new Nosferatu film directed by Robert Eggers does. It's creepy, it's gorgeous, it's stunning, it is absolutely worth talking about. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, quick rundown. The story is set in the late 1800s in this moody little German port town. The focus is on a character named Ellen Hutter, and she's dealing with these unsettling psychic visions that honestly seem like a nightmare on their own. But then you throw in Count Orlok, this haunting, otherworldly-like figure, and suddenly it's like her life isn't even her own anymore. The tension builds so slowly too, and you can practically feel that it's tightening around you. It's not just a vampire movie, it's more like a gothic tragedy, and I really like that about this film a lot. Let's go ahead and talk about Robert Eggers for a second here. You know this guy, he did The Witch, he did The Lighthouse, so he's very into these intense, atmospheric stories. And with Nosferatu, you can tell that he's having an absolute blast, bringing this classic back to life. The attention to detail is absolutely insane also. It's like you're stepping straight into 19th century Europe with this movie. Eggers just gets how to make a world feel lived in and unsettling all at the same time. Then there's Lily Rose Depp, who plays Ellen. Honestly, she's just fantastic. Ellen is this mix of vulnerability and quiet strength, and Depp absolutely nails it. You really feel for her as she's trying to piece together what's happening and the way she portrays those visions. Chilling. Absolutely chilling. What I like about it is it doesn't feel like her character is actually just reacting to the horror. It actually feels like she's part of what makes this all so very compelling. Now let's talk about Bill Skarsgård a little bit. I mean, this guy was practically born to play these creepy roles, right? It's like they're all written for him. His portrayal of Count Orlok is terrifying, but there's something, I don't know, tragic about him too. As he's not your typical suave vampire, Orlok is this more grotesque, almost feral creature, and yet somehow Skarsgård gives him this weird depth that makes you feel a little bit sorry for him. It's unsettling, but in the best way. And visually, this movie is just stunning. That is the best word I would use to describe it. Every shot feels like it could be a painting. The sets are dripping with atmosphere, foggy harbors, shadowy corridors, crumbling old buildings. It's amazing. It's so immersive in the lighting. Total throwback to the original silent film with all these deep and dramatic shadows. It's got this vintage vibe, but still feels so super modern. And here's the thing, this isn't just a scary movie. It's got that classic gothic horror feel, lots of brooding atmospheric big themes like death, decay, and the weight of fate. It's that kind of horror that just sneaks up on you and gets under your skin a little bit, instead of just throwing these jump scares in your face. If you're into movies like the others or even Eggers' own The Witch, then you will absolutely love Nosferatu. I can count on that. Something else I really appreciate about this movie is how the film tends to lean into the sense of certainty. Like from the start, you just know things are not going to end well for some of these characters. There's this creeping dread that builds and builds and builds, and it's honestly kind of exhausting, but I mean that in the best way. And then there's this idea of Orlok as a symbol, you know, like he's not just a monster, he's also this looming reminder of mortality and the stuff that we cannot control. It's heavy, but it works. So bottom line, if you are into moody, slow burn horror with a ton of style and some really intense performances, you've got to check out Nosferatu. Eggers really pulled it off here. He honored the original while making something that feels fresh and haunting. And yeah, it's probably going to stick with you for a while. Alright, that's it for me, everybody. I'm David Clair-Bennett. You've been watching today's episode of Deep Dives with David. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I also host a podcast on this channel called Real Appreciation. That's spelled R-E-E-L, Appreciation. I've interviewed horror legends like David Howard Thornton, Marcus Dunstan, and so many more amazing people. Please check that out on the channel. That's enough for me. I'm David Clair-Bennett. You've been watching Deep Dives with David.